Hi guys, and welcome to another Crypto Insight UK podcast episode. Today I am blessed with the presence of Crypto Mason. I'm going to let him introduce himself a little bit, so if you wouldn't mind just giving me a bit about yourself. I'm sure everyone knows you already, but take it away.
So, my name is Crypto Mason. My full name, Mason Versluis. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, all of that. Um, I make content about crypto, mainly, XRP. I cover everything, but there's a strong focus on XRP as well. I've been making content for like a year and a half now, but I've been in crypto since 2017. So yeah, that's what I'm about.
Okay, awesome. Right, so all your links and are going to be down in the description below, Mason. So that's where people can find you quite easily if they want to. We'll touch on that again at the end. But first question for you is, how did you get into crypto and what did you do before?
Yeah, so I got into crypto when I was 17 years old. I'm only 21 right now. So I got into crypto in 2017, right before the huge parabolic rally. I knew about Bitcoin, but actually my dad taught me or showed me Ripple. He showed me Ripple and he's like, this is one that might be doing something with banks. And I'm like, it piqued my interest. So, I mean, my first Bitcoin purchase was like through an ATM, like a Bitcoin ATM at a cafe. And the intention was to buy Bitcoin to trade it for XRP. So I always like to tell that story. But I got in 2017. I was a broke 17-year-old. I was working at a greenhouse, like a plant greenhouse. So I only had a bit of money. I watched my portfolio, like 4x, 5x during that parabolic rally. Didn't sell anything. Watched it fall all the way back down. And then I kind of fell asleep to crypto in like 2018 and 2019 and came back at like the start of 2020 when I realized how much it was needed in the world. So yeah, that's how I got in.
So you say you come back at the start of 2020. So if correct me if I'm wrong, but if history serves me right, was that just before the C19 crash? So start of 2020 was like as in a year and a half ago. Where a
Yeah,
year and 2 months. Okay, so
yeah,
okay, that's pretty sick. That's pretty soon. Like, I mean, your journey is pretty similar to mine in one respect. Like, I did the same thing as you. I think a lot of the people who are creating content in our space have had that same sort of journey. Like, they had the experience of the first like bull slash bear market. I did the same thing. Slept on crypto for a bit, and then you came back in at the start of 2020. Okay, so when you came back, did you still have any of your portfolio left? And if so, like, then what did you do? What was your first step back in?
yeah. I had all of it. And like the XRP that I'm holding right now is like mixed in with the XRP that I had from back then. But it was very small. Like I think at the peak of my portfolio, it was like $2,500 because I was 17. And then I forgot a key piece of the story, which was I started a music marketing agency when I was like 18, 19, and that was doing extremely well. So that's where I got most of the capital to really go deep into crypto. Um, and that actually got shut down by PayPal. PayPal banned all of my payment processing accounts because I was doing high risk digital. They don't like digital services, so they banned it for high risk digital services because I was providing digital marketing services. And then I got into crypto, or I got back into crypto with all of that capital. Um, but I did, yeah. I had all of my other stuff. I got on Twitter in 2017. I wasn't on Twitter at all, and then I found the XRP community on Twitter, and it just spiraled into everything that it is now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So coming back in with that sort of capital, and where did you learn about your like social media? How did you get into the social media side of things?
See, well, that plays in with the digital marketing agency that I had. I was running other people's social media and helping other people grow on social media. So I had all the tools already. Like I had the graphic design. Like I know basic graphic design. I make all my thumbnails on my videos. I do it all. Like it's only me here as of now. Like I'm a one-man team throughout this whole thing. So I had all the skills already dialed in. I knew how to keyword tags, all this stuff. Um, so it did help me
Yeah, that's
to have all of that.
that's sick, man. Like as I was said offline, that I really respect your work ethic. It takes a lot to be putting out content, especially across different platforms. I presume even more so when you get a larger following like you do, to keep people engaged and try and also make it personal. But you do that very well, and your content delivery is awesome. So
Thank you.
one thing I want to touch on a little bit, it's only like kind of a side question, is like a spirituality side of things. I myself have like found that when I'm getting very stressed, stuff like meditation really helps me. I'd like to see or dive into you. What do you do to relax? Do you do any kind of meditation, manifestation, anything along those lines?
Yeah, definitely. This everything I have right now is because of practices like that, and I'm deep into all of it. But the manifestation part is definitely a key. I kind of think about it as like I had a period of time where I really did like went hard on the meditation stuff and learned how to like be at the driver's seat of my mind. Like I know how to drive my mind now. So therefore now I can throw myself into like a high stress and like extreme workload and be able to control it because I've just practiced that for so long. Um, so yeah, the meditation is big. Right now I don't do it as much just because I'm so like I've been just on full tilt for a year and a half. And that shows through the results. Like literally the harder you work in online business, the results just are equal every time, right? Every time. So the meditation, I would like to do more of it and get back into it more now because I definitely need it now more than ever.
Yeah. So actually touching on to that, I find this quite interesting. So when did you really hone on your meditation?
I've been for like I would say 5 years ago. So I'm
Okay.
21 now. I started all of that type of stuff. Like that's how I started everything. I found crypto through the spiritual stuff
Sure.
because I'm like, oh, Bitcoin, this is like a currency that people are trying to create. Like that sounds amazing. Like I want to disconnect from the governments and all of that. So I found crypto through that spirituality. So spirituality, I would say, is my first passion, and then crypto and finance.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's something that I find that is quite a strange, like a reoccurring theme between everyone that I've spoke to, is that everyone's quite like tries to really focus on being like present and mental health within the crypto space, which I think is quite interesting because I imagine, not that I've ever been there, but I imagine like legacy finance that isn't probably involved at all. I probably imagine it's the opposite, more about like just blasting yourself. Whereas I think in cryptocurrency specifically, it's about like like finding yourself, understanding yourself, and then understanding this. So I find that quite a cool trade-off, and it's interesting that yourself does think like that. So you've already answered this question for me, so about your Bitcoin ATM experience. But with XRP, when did you really start to be like, okay, I know you said the start of 2020 was when you started to put some more money in, but when did you think, okay, I really want to get deep into XRP and start going down that rabbit hole, and how did that open up to you?
It was probably in 2020. In 2017, it was more like, okay, I'm comparing this to Bitcoin, and it's just significantly faster and better and cheaper in every aspect, of course. But then in 2020, I was like watching different YouTube channels like Digital Asset Investor, Crypto Airy. I'm sure you know them, XRP Chiz, these type of people, and they were pointing out some just like deep connections that are just like undeniable. And then I fell down that rabbit hole. So it was them, and they actually inspired me to make content. People like Digital Asset Investor and all them, they inspired me to make videos about it as well. So I fell down that rabbit hole from YouTube and Twitter.
I had the same experience. I was like, I have a small company and I was working for my dad at the time. And I found that exact same thing, pretty much the exact same loop as well. Digital Asset Investor, Digital Perspectives, Variable Bull, Crypto Kevin Cage, those sorts of people.
Yeah.
And like listening to their videos in the day, I was like helping my dad, and then I was like, wow, this I can't believe that people don't know about this stuff. Like I've got to get it out there in my way at least, and that's how I fell into that hole as well. So we'll jump into XRP then a bit now, because obviously it's what a lot of my followers want to hear about, your opinion on that. So what do you think is going to happen in regards to this lawsuit? How do you think it's going to play out?
It is extremely hard to tell. It's one of the things that like I can't predict. Like I feel like I have a great vision on what the future has, but I can't, like, they've made it very foggy. It's very smoke and mirrors ish. But what I think, there's two paths. I've made a video about this before. XRP could either be the sacrificial lamb, or it's this rising phoenix imagery that everybody has. And by sacrificial lamb, I mean it would be the in a sense, it is the sacrificial lamb already, because it is the one that's been offered up to the SEC to determine what everything else is, right? And if it is deemed a security, that means that, like, just go down the list, and all of those are going to be also deemed securities. So I do see a small route that I've talked about before that we could take, where it gets deemed a security token, right? I've talked about this before, and that would be the start of the security token industry, because that's an industry, but it's very small right now, and there's only a few eyes on it. So if it does go the security way, I think it's going to be a security token. But if it goes the cryptocurrency way, that is the biggest W, the biggest win for everything, right? But it's impossible to tell. I know for sure that XRP is a cryptocurrency. I'm sure you know, like 100% it should be a win. But we never know when we're playing with somebody like the SEC. They can spin it and twist it however they want.
Yeah, I found that a very strange journey, because I'd say the further we've got into the case, not the less positive I've been, but the more like, okay, why is this not done already? I felt that in maybe like September, October, November, even when BitBoy was coming out with his like insider info, this sort of stuff, I was like, well, I can kind of see where you're coming from. I can kind of see why there would be settlements there, or settlement talks. But now I just feel like, what is going on? But this is a weird thing, because whenever I have that vibe with crypto itself, as in like price action, is normally when we see the next leg up. When I've almost like at the point where like, okay, everyone hates it, everyone's waiting for the next leg down, everyone's this and this, that's normally when I see a reversal. So that makes me feel personally, off the back of that, okay, well, we obviously are closer in a time perspective than we've ever been to a settlement at the end of the suit, but are we getting closer in terms of, is this just going to come out of nowhere? But because I have no legal experience, I have no flipping clue what's going on there. So, next question then. You kind of touched on this again, but if this is a loss for XRP, let's say loss in the sense of, I obviously don't think that they're going to cripple XRP. I think they may try it. I think that's kind of by the by, but let's just say this lawsuit's wrapped up completely, one way or another. What does Gary Gensler do next?
Well, that really depends on the outcome. Gary seems to, like, he wants to see it succeed, but he wants it in his way, you know? He would, I think also a dismissal of this case would be the worst result. If it just gets dismissed, then we have like something else needs to bring clarity. So maybe they go at Ethereum, which wouldn't make sense because they've already went at XRP. So I think the Ethereum people need to be counting on XRP to win. You know, so Gary would probably just go. He would go on a rampage if SEC wins in any way. I think he'd just go on a rampage, man. Yeah. To be honest.
Do you think they'll put out like just a blanket lawsuit against like every single crypto and just be like tick 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 on this in crypto, or do you think they'll just like hone in on a couple, like your Cardanos or whoever speaks up? They're basically like, that's what I feel like they've done with Ripple, to be honest. It's like, okay, well, you've been transparent, you've come to us, and now we know what you're doing, so we're just going to be like, okay, well, actually, you're making a hell of a lot of money. I'm not sure if it's right or wrong, but we want some of it. That's what I feel like this lawsuit's about.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a new Howey test, or I think there should be a new Howey test that comes out of this, like strictly made for crypto. Like they could call it the Ripple test. That would be legendary if they did that. But cool. I think like the blanket lawsuit could happen, but I think it would be more of like a blanket just statement or law that's in place, and then you have to follow that, or then they're coming for you, basically. But at this point, dude, there's 17,000 cryptos. Like, we cannot be stopped in any way. There's no stopping this. They must adopt it.
Yeah, the only thing they can really do feasibly is slow it down, and only really within the US. Like if they slow it down within the US, obviously it has a wider impact to the rest of the world because of how big the equities market is there. But like, I don't think they can't really do too much now, especially with big powers like you've got your India and your Russia coming out just saying that there is some sorts of legislation. They're not banning it, is basically what they're saying. So they're like, we're going to try and make it work. The same with the UK and stuff as well. So getting onto that actually, what do you think is going to happen with the next stage of like CBDCs? We've seen like big testing in China. What do you think the US are going to do there? And do you think, this is a specific question, do you think the US are behind or do you think they've got a plan?
I think the U.S. is way behind, but I think it's on purpose. I think they're actually watching the success or the failure of what China's doing, and then they're going to model theirs after how they did it. Because it is going to be extremely hard to get the U.S. to use something like this, in my opinion. It will increase the use case for other cryptos. Like the Bitcoiners will go riot in the streets if that is forced upon anybody. So we kind of have them at this checkmate of like, if you try this, like we've got Bitcoin, we have this whole market of DeFi that we're going to move to. Like, and a lot of people won't be down to have no privacy. I mean, the blockchain is public, but they won't be down to have this controlled, even more controlled currency. But yes, I do think they're way behind. And I do think there's so much development on CBDCs going on for like the past 7 years that nobody's watching because they're all distracted with, you know, dog coins and meme coins and all of this. And in my content, I try to, you know, also cover that side of it because it's very important.
Yeah, and I think that the whole like this whole growth is really important as well. Even with the speculative cryptos and the pump and dump cryptos, like all this sort of stuff it's like a growth in like the new birth of a trader, the new generation of a trader of like, well, we kind of have a mixture of people who are doing it for fun, people who are trying to flip some quick cash because cash doesn't really mean too much to people anymore, or the amounts that we've got. So you may as well try and 200, 300, 400 exit because like whatever you've got in the bank doesn't really make anything for you. To like the people who are like, okay, well, that's got utility. Is that going to be there in the long run? How can that complement us in the future? But it seems to be that the speculation is really winning the race at the minute, which is quite interesting. Because I saw you actually made like a Memecoin portfolio for a bit, didn't you? And I don't know how that performed, like short or long term, but I just think it's interesting that like that is an area that definitely did perform for a while, and there's not really anything behind it. It's just there, isn't it? As far as that goes.
Yeah. My meme coin portfolio, I made like about $5,000 on Shiba Inu, and I sold it all. I was at a loss on a couple of the meme coins, but I sold it all. And the logic behind that was just like, this time around, I'm not going to hate on this meme coin cycle. I'm just going to try and make money on it because that's clearly where the volume is. Just like you said, the speculation is winning, but I also think the use case will eventually outweigh the speculation, and that's when we see XRP and all of these other ones come out on top with the biggest gains.
Okay, so I'm going to double question that in a second, but so in regards to that meme coin sort of stuff, we've had speculation that like Shiba Inu could be promoted at the Super Bowl halftime. What's your personal play on what's going to happen with the Super Bowl? What are you doing? Anything specific with that?
Yeah, so I just stacked up on crypto.com. That's my play for the Super Bowl. I bought a little bit more on top of what I already held of CRO, because I do think that whoever gets the first ad in the Super Bowl might pump the hardest, and I think it might be FTX as well. But for Shiba Inu, I believe that Coinbase, there won't be an ad directly about Shiba Inu, in my opinion. I think there will be a Shiba Inu dog featured in some ads, which that might pump the coin. And I think Coinbase would be the one to feature that Shiba Inu dog because they've been parading Shiba Inu around, dude. On TikTok, there's been ads of like trade Shiba Inu on Coinbase, and they're like literally using it. Like if you go on their app, it's like the top bar says like trade Shiba Inu. So they would be the one to do it. But my personal play with the Super Bowl is that crypto.com. I think it might have a little pump, and I'm going to sell off. Like I'm going to actually make a swing trade on that.
Is that just with the short-term bag that you've bought recently, or are you going to dive into your long-term holdings, or is that dependent on the pump size?
It is, yeah, I guess it would be dependent on the pump size, but the plan is to just take profit from the small bag I bought on top.
Sure. Oh, imagine this for a play, by the way. I don't know why it's just popped into my head, but imagine if Coinbase came out at halftime of the Super Bowl, relist an XRP.
Oh, man, dude, that is a dream.
Can you imagine
That's
that?
A dream.
Okay, cool. So, next question. What do you think about NFTs? Bit of a
NFTs,
weird one.
That's a good question, though. NFTs are like, it's so dangerous, dude. It's more dangerous than meme coins, in my opinion, because it's an illiquid market, meaning like it's like a house. Like you need to find somebody who likes the house and wants to buy it, or you're stuck holding the house. So if there's nobody to buy your NFT, you can't just go and dump it on the market. Like if you can, you're lucky, and you're accepting an offer from a robot that's like 1,000% below floor or some crazy thing. But NFTs, what we need to understand is the cartoon monkeys and all of this is just the first use case of NFTs. For example, Ethereum name service is one of the second use cases of NFTs where you can buy a name, right? I have some .eth names, and that's like the second. Like the underlying idea of NFTs is gonna purvey everything, but the art side of it is just one side, and that's what people need to understand. But I like them. I buy them. I have a huge portfolio. You know, I made like 80,000 in 1 month on degenerate apes on Solana. So I've played in the space, in the NFT space, and it's paid off.
Yeah, and just quickly to touch on your ENS that you were saying, it's like, for anyone who doesn't know, that's basically where you buy like a something .eth, so it's almost like a domain name, and that ties to your MetaMask wallet, so you can like send Ethereum to that name, and it comes straight into your wallet. But yeah, I saw your Solana plays with your NFTs. So do you have any NFT alpha for anyone watching this? Is there anything you're watching at the minute?
Absolutely nothing at the minute,
Nothing?
to be honest. Nah.
Okay.
I think people should stay away kind of right now. I think, I don't know. It's hard to find ones that are like, all of the floor prices are manipulated. Like that's what people need to know. It is so easy to manipulate the floor price of an NFT. I've been in group chats where they say like, okay, at this time, we're literally going to make the floor this price.
No way.
Right? And they sweep the entire floor, and then they raise that. So now all you need is some other like an idiot basically to come and buy at that price. It's just like the greater fool. Like who's the greater fool? Who's going to buy it higher? So be very careful with them. You know, 90% of my NFT portfolio is worthless. It's worthless. I can't sell it. I'm stuck. Right? Yeah. So be careful right now.
Yeah, mine's similar to that. So, but I like how you said that it will be around. This is where I think that a lot of people don't understand the power of the NFTs, and I would like to touch on that if you want to expand. Like, where do you think like they will come into their own? Do you think they'll be in terms of like utility? I presume is what you're talking about. Could you give us an example of where you think NFTs might be a part of our future?
Yeah, I think for sure in blockchain gaming. Like I've spent thousands of hours on video games in my past, and I would have loved to actually own everything in there and be able to sell it when, like, because you play a video game, right? And then a new one comes out. Now you've wasted thousands of hours on this one, and you're just playing a new one. But what if you could take some of the value and ownership of the stuff in the old one and, you know, be bossed up in the new game because you play the old one? That type of thing, it'll be in there. And then also with like fractionalized NFTs, where you can have like a Picasso painting in your house, you can NFT it, and then people can own parts of it. That will be big as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think like how cool would it be? Because I was like a OG Fortnite player. If you had some of the OG skins that you could sell on now or whatever, that they would be worth a bomb. That'd be sweet. So, okay, so the next sort of part of this this chat is, how did you get into the TA side of cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so that's a pretty recent thing for me, honestly. That was the final piece of the puzzle.
Hmm.
Actually, no, there's a second final piece of the puzzle. I'm aiming to be like a jack of all trades in crypto, so I want to hit everything and know about everything. I'm sure you sort of are too, because you're going NFTs, crypto, XRP, right?
Hmm.
Covering Bitcoin sometimes. So the TA side, I got in from just years of watching and not doing, right? I
Hmm.
was watching these people do technical analysis, but I was never doing it, or I was never. So I had this kind of subconscious foundation,
Hmm.
but I never really dove deep into it. And now I'm just starting to get into that and day trading
Hmm.
and all of this stuff, because I think if you can make money from lines on your screen from a laptop anywhere in the world, dude, that is everybody's dream job. I could fly to Tulum, Turks and Caicos. I could fly anywhere, laptop, and you make money with these weird lines on your screen going up and down. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that
So I
is
think it's
mad.
very valuable.
And how did you learn about, how are you, where are you taking information from? Is there anything that you could tell the audience, like where you would suggest to find that information?
Yeah, it's got to be YouTube, man. YouTube is the king of everything.
Hmm.
I learned from channels like the Secret Mindset. He's a massive one. The Secret Mindset. I watched Benjamin Cowan a lot, and just absorb all of the different things. And the key thing about trading is making your own
Hmm.
um, system, right? So I wanted a system given to me. So I got into Market Cipher,
Hmm.
and that's a paid indicator,
Okay.
and it just, to me, it looked like a good system to just learn and apply to everything. So that's made by Crypto Face. He's a massive on YouTube as well. So that's what I started out with.
Okay, awesome. And I heard you say that it wasn't the final piece of the puzzle. So what is the final piece of the puzzle for Mason?
Yeah. Yeah. The final piece of the puzzle is building a blockchain company, or building in this space. So coding, developing, that type of thing, and actually building something, even a DAO. Like, I don't have a DAO,
Hmm.
right? I would love to have a DAO for my community or something like that. So the final piece that I know nothing about is that coding and developing piece, right? That's the
Yeah,
final piece.
that's awesome, man. You remind me very much of myself. Like, I feel like we're on this same sort of journey. It's just pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what shocked you the most about cryptocurrency since the start of your journey?
What shocked me the most is the amount of money people made,
Hmm.
and are making. It shocked me that this is even going on, and we're basically giving the government a taste of their own medicine, because they told us that fiat currency was valuable. We all agreed, and now we pass around paper rectangles, as I like to call them, which is cash, right? So we just like, they just told us that. Okay, so let's go and make cryptos where we just tell each other that the value's higher, and we're doing this same thing back to them. So that was when that happened in my mind. I was like, oh, so this is what we're doing. We're just all agreeing that our tokens are super valuable compared to the dollar, and then we're actually cashing out to the dollar because some idiot will buy our coin for that. Like, it's crazy, man. That's what shocked me the most, for sure.
Yeah.
And that we were able to make it to like $1 trillion industry with no government help, right? Wild West, and we're worth 2 trillion right now. Like, crazy, insane.
Yeah, it's like we're just like to the government. Oh yeah, it's on, man. And now like the
Yep.
institutions and stuff are like, yeah, hell yeah, we're with these we're with these boys, or at least a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit. So okay, on back off the back of that, slightly, I feel like this is a bit all over the place, but I quite kind of like the vibes. So, what institutions and what steps forward do you think we'll see from institutions next in terms of like cryptocurrency adoption? Where are the next steps?
In my opinion, the next step is the institution stepping into DeFi.
Hmm.
You see things like MetaMask developing institutional grade custody and like DeFi wallets. You see Fireblocks developing custody stuff. Um, and I think they're going to step hard into the decentralized finance, and you'll see like the TVL of some of these projects just ramp up even more. Um, I'm watching personally all of the venture capitals. Like, if you just look at any venture capital firm, they're literally investing in blockchain and Web3 and all of that. So it's pretty easy to see where we're headed. But I think they're going to step into DeFi hard. So that's my little prediction there.
Yeah, nice. And this is kind of a question that I don't know if you will be able to answer. It's kind of a hard one to answer, but as we know, like XRP has pretty good clarity. It's, again, all over the place, but just institutions where my mind just went. XRP has clarity pretty much all over the world, apart from the US. So, what do you think the main reason for like many places not really utilizing XRP that much around the world right now? Because they're not obviously under that lawsuit around the world.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Um, I think the U.S. needs to act fast and adopt this fast, or they're going to continue to fall behind. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's a hard one to. I don't know why they haven't ramped it up full tilt everywhere other than the U.S. just to show the U.S. that they need to be using this, right? Because they could pull ahead with Ripple. If everywhere else starts using it, the Asia places, they start using it, it would ramp way ahead. So I think they might just be waiting, and yeah, I think they're waiting.
Yeah, we have seen obviously like some levels of adoption like ODL, and obviously the volume is massively increasing if you look at the quarterly reports. But it just, for me, there was just something that's a question that I've just been thinking about a little bit recently. Is like, I obviously understand that the legacy banks have got to like trust the system, etc., before they start using it. And that's my argument for anyone who says, oh, but this crypto is better than XRP in this sense, this is better than this. But it's like, yeah, but they've been behind closed doors with the legacy banks for like 10 plus years, and these cryptos haven't. So that's a massive thing for the future of finance, in my opinion. So let's get a bit conspiracy based on XRP, because I know that you have a side of you that likes to do this sort of thing. So I want you to first go with your biggest and most extravagant conspiracy. What do you think is like the most shocking thing that could happen with XRP? Let's go for that to start with.
Oh man, I think the most shocking thing would be that XRP is literally a one world currency, and the government moves to a one world government, and then they have us under a one world government and a one world currency in some way. And then I think the cooperation between Flare Network and XRP, I think if Flare adds like Bitcoin and gets every other crypto on it, like it could really take over. And then of course, if any of these like major switches flip on XRP, like if we get like a Swift type volume or a Fedwire type volume, it's game over. Like I want everybody to apologize to us. That's what we want, right? The Bitcoin maxis should like bow down and be like, okay, wow, they just really did that. But my biggest theory would be just like, it really is the one. Like everything that we've said comes to fruition, and it is the new Bitcoin. It usurps that number one spot. That would just be the craziest thing ever.
Yeah, I completely agree. And what do you think the most likely outcome is?
The most likely outcome is that XRP performs above average. It just performs well, right? As a normal coin, like we break all-time high this year, right? We head up, put in a new all-time high, maybe like double digits, $15, $12, $13, somewhere there. That's the most likely thing. But XRP doesn't seem to do the whole likely thing. It likes these big surprises and rocket out of nowhere. Like in 2017, it was like a couple weeks and we're into like the dollars of like $3, right? So the most likely is just it performs well. It's a competitor to Swift and Fedwire and all of that. It'll just remain a competitor. That's the most likely, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that this is what I try and say in my videos as well, that like even on a speculative cycle, which is what we're at the minute, there's not really much you can take out of this market utility wise. We're not using anything on any kind of massive scale, but on a speculative cycle, which is what we're on, if you can say that the cycle hasn't changed, we're still looking at Fibonacci extensions and like $13-ish, 13 to 15 for a cycle top. But if you're holding a crypto like XRP, like you've always got, like we talked about just before that little lottery ticket of the fact that it could be something massive, and there's all the speculation and the research that you can do where you kind of like, well, actually that makes sense, and they've got that partnership there. And then the more you do research it, you feel a bit like, is it crazy to think that this could happen, or am I crazy now? Like that's what.
a constant battle in my head as well, man. Constant battle.
And some days I wake up and I think, okay, like just focus on the speculative cycle, just focus on what we're doing now, and then when you start to like you just like uncover another like connection, partnership, and you're like, surely something's going on here. Like, how much do you think, this is a good question off the back of that actually, how much do you think we know as retail investors in terms of like what monetary policy is going to do, or what the future of our financial system is going to do?
Honestly, I think we know a lot. Like, it is very hard for them to, because this whole entire plan, in my opinion, has been going on for like so long. Like, people have been talking about China pulling ahead of the US and all of this crazy stuff for a long time, and the dollar dying, right? They've been talking about that for a long time. So I think we're actually pretty on point. In the specifically the XRP community is very on point. It's just about things. It might. What I think is it might just take longer than we think. Like, it just might take longer. But all of this is going to come to fruition anyways. But I think we're on point. But there is obviously stuff we don't know and unexpected things that will happen.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this is another thing that I try and get my head around is, do you think that they've had, or they, whoever they are, have had a master plan that they're like playing out? Or do you think that it's kind of like coincidental and it's just fallen into place because of what's happening in real world situations, etc.?
I think it's been a master plan. For because if you make a fiat currency, you know that it goes to zero, and it's like the worst type of currency. Like, fiat is terrible, right? So they know that was going to be replaced. But also, I think the internet was kind of a whole like needle or like a knife in the side, in the back of them. It was a knife in the back, the internet, because the internet, they weren't prepared to have payments happening on the internet. It was supposed to just be information and stuff. Now we're bringing payments to the internet, and it's like there's no borders now. Everything is borderless. But yeah, I think it's a master plan, man.
Yeah, I think that's something very interesting, actually, the borderless thing, especially with obviously freedom of travel, like, and now these new like tax systems coming in. So, for example, for me, like, I don't want to live here in the UK if I'm getting charged like 20% capital gains, where I could get 0% in Thailand, or like that's a new one, or Dubai, or wherever. Like, why? I have no affiliation to the UK. Like, I wouldn't want to stay here long term if they want to take 20% of what I'm taking. Because one thing that I feel like this is maybe like a spoiled brat syndrome, but I've always felt like, well, if I take on all the risk to make a trade, and I have to pay 20% if I make it right, but if I get it wrong, you don't give me 20% back. So how does that work?
That's so good. Yeah. I agree, man.
Yeah, so
go where you're treated best.
Exactly.
That's the whole motto. Go where you're treated best.
And I think that will economically change quite a lot of countries. So if a lot of entrepreneurs who let's say crypto is going to be the new financial system, at least at a bottom rail, like a foundational rail, who knows which crypto that's going to be, just on a speculative level, it doesn't matter too much. But if everyone who's interested in that space is going to be like entrepreneurial, at least at a very little level, you take all that capital but also that brain to your country by offering them zero tax, you bring that inflow of capital in it, you're going to create almost a powerhouse in your country just by doing that. So I feel like it's going to be very interesting to see what does happen, and how fast these countries adopt. And along that level, before we get on to the next question, who do you think country-wise, or what do you think country-wise will happen with legislation? Who do you think will get any more countries recognising crypto as legal tender?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think if it happened anywhere in the U.S., like, I know they're like fighting for it in like Arkansas and different places, I think, or Arizona. Sorry. Yeah. If that happened, that would be crazy, and that would, like, basically what you see right now is like, if you're not supporting crypto as like a senator or somebody in government, you're like hated, and that's what we want. Like, we will vote for the ones that support our industry, basically. But El Salvador was huge, right? I think somebody pushed for it in Canada. I saw a little thing. Somebody was trying to push for it in Canada. Um, but yeah, it might happen. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, talking about Canada specifically, I think Mark Carney, is he something to do with the Canadian, um, like either Bank of Canada or something like that? He was ex Bank of England, and now he's over there. But he was pro XRP, but I'm pretty sure he was even maybe going to run for president in Canada. Is that right? Am I? I don't know if I'm right there or
I'm
not.
not
There.
sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so we'll go back to America then quickly. With Joe Biden releasing this, I don't know what it's called, the national security, the big headlines that we've been grabbing. How do you think that's going to play out? Because as you said, there's like midterm election coming in, and again, I'm not very political, especially when it comes to the US. We've got these midterm elections, and from what I can see from the outside, you've got loads of different senators or Congress people, however you describe them, running for their electoral campaigns, really pro crypto, and then you've got like Janet Yellen, Elizabeth Warren, Gary Gensler in the ear of Joe Biden, like quite anti-crypto. How do you think this plays out? And because he's already quite disliked, well, not quite disliked, it's quite like 50-50, I guess, is it? I don't know.
Yeah. The senator thing is like, basically right now, if you're a senator and you come out and support Bitcoin, you're just getting a lot of votes. So they're doing it as like a campaign move. And the national security thing, it's like, he's right. Like, yes, this is a threat to your nation, and you know it. Like, this is a national security threat. We're breaking your whole system and making ours. So yes, he's correct. But he better realize that, you know, you can hate on it all you want, and you can like fight it all you want, but this is unstoppable. Like, I've went over every possible thing in my head, and it's like they have to shut off the internet to stop this at this point. And that's why I think the internet was like a stab in the back to them, because by somebody like the cyberpunk people, like these internet like Elon Musk type and Peter Thiel, those type of people. I think they really put them in a checkmate with the internet, because they would have to shut off, like Biden would have to shut off the internet if you want to stop this. You can ban the on ramps, right, and the off ramps, but dude, it'll still be used. Like, but I think he's right. Yeah, it is a national threat. Yeah, we're coming for your entire system, buddy. Like, yo.
Chris A. Mason's coming for you, Joe, so you better watch it. We're coming with the army. XRP army are coming.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Yeah, that's jokes. So what does the future of money look like to you?
The future of money looks crazy. Like, I believe you'll be able to buy stuff with fractions of your house. Like, your house will have a value, and you can actually like use your, like, I think people will be paying with investments more, because if we're looking at our cryptocurrencies as currencies and investments, right, and then we're paying with Bitcoin, which appreciates, it's going to be interesting to see how people deal with an asset that's going up, but you still need to buy things. You know, it's almost like it's good to have a dead currency, fiat, that is worthless, basically.
Yeah, that's a weird thought.
But money should move like email. That's the first step, and XRP is getting money to move like email. Why can I not send money to China for free, frictionless, instant? That should already be happened. So once that happens, everything's gonna speed up. It's gonna be very fast. You'll be able to work your job and see your pay going up on your lunch break and being deposited, right? Because it's so fast. You'll be able to watch that dollar amount. Like, you could pull out your thing while your phone while working and see it going up, right? So that's how fast this stuff can get with the micropayments and that type of stuff. It's just all going to get faster and way better, in my opinion.
That's an actual mad thought. I never really thought about it the way that you've just said, with fractionalizing houses and being able to pay like that. Like, that makes sense in terms of how obviously XRP, like the DEX can do like rippling or whatever. I never really thought about that. Like, it would literally mean you could go into a shop if your house was on the blockchain and be like, oh crap, I've not got enough, like, or I don't want to spend my XRP, or I don't want to spend my Bitcoin today, so do you know what, I'll just sell a a thousandth of my house, and someone out there is obviously looking to buy a thousandth of a part of property, and they just like it all happens in a split second on a decentralized exchange, and there's a bit of your house gone, but you've got your milk to take home or whatever.
Yeah,
That is crazy thought.
I also envision like walking through a city and your phone is paying every single Wi-Fi router, right? Any public Wi-Fi router, it's paying it in tiny micropayments, which would outweigh a cellular data plan. So you could walk through and it's like you can imagine your phone just shooting off small payments. You know, anything is possible.
Yeah, that is insane. Because let's just dive into this conspiracy world for a second. Like not conspiracy, but like actual future, like a future world. Because my thoughts of where I think things will go is maybe not like as far-fetched as that. Not far-fetched. I don't think that is far-fetched, but I mean like it sounds far-fetched from where we are now. But I think that our next steps will be obviously some kind of digital wallet, like a global ID sort of thing like that, and that will have tied to it everything. So I think that digital wallet will almost turn into a social media platform indefinitely, because I think it will be like your PFPs will be in there. You'll probably be able to tie your social medias to it, so it'll almost be like your alias. But then will we have some kind of anonymity flip like between there, like a layer? I don't know, probably, because everyone's going to cry about anonymity. So maybe we'll have some sort of alias and you'll project that, and that could be Metaverse or whatever. But then what I actually think that will happen there is at birth you'll probably all get one of these, and then I think that they'll probably then tie that to something in you biologically, like maybe your retina or something like that, so you won't even need your phone, your anything like that. So you want to go somewhere and like pay for something, you could just be like, boom, look at it, there you go, here you go, here's this. But then on the flip side of that, it's like the attention and data side where they're then paying you. You've looked at our advertisement, our advert, thank you for your attention, here's like basic attention token or whatever. You've looked at this, you've interacted with this when you went out, or if you have your mobile device or whatever, you've clicked on our ad, thank you, like here's this for you, this is what you get if you come to our store. And that's where I think that we could really go. Like, do you think we'll have some kind of like biological cyber like
dude, your right hand is already a cyborg, right? You're always pulling out that phone with your right hand. Like, it's just a step away from being on your wrist, and they already have it on the wrist, right? They put the Apple Watches and things, and that's just a step away from being in your hand as a chip. So it's all like a constant like pushing the goalpost of like getting you to wear the AirPods, right? Versus like wired, and then it can be in your ear or something like that. But yeah, what you said about looking like just with the eye at an advertisement, that is mind blowing, because then it's like you don't want to look anywhere when you go out. Maybe people are just looking at the ground or something. If I don't know, but once you're tracking attention like that, oh, dude, the advertising space is gonna get crazy. I think there will be a global ID. I agree with you, something like that. And we can see that with all the passporting and all that. Like, it's going there, right? It's just a matter of time before it goes there. Yeah.
Hey, I'm all for that as well, by the way. Like, how much easier is it going to be for me to travel if I could just have one card to get me into sports games and all this sort of stuff? Like, I just take even if it's my phone, I just flash my phone somewhere, I'm into a different country, like it's proof of identity, all that sort of stuff. It makes it a lot easier for me as a consumer.
But don't you think that if they tried to push it that far, there will be like a very strong pushback from the people who love the privacy? Like, I don't know how far they can take it without like riots in the streets and stuff, of like privacy riots or something like that.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a big bridge to cross, but I feel like if you can cryptographically encode like a wallet that no one can see your private keys, I feel like they could probably do that with an identification, like, so it proves that it's you, but you don't have to display that it's you. I think there'll be some kind of base layer between then. I don't think we've worked that out yet, which is why I think we're not quite there, because I think that they know, like, even with the research reports, whether you believe them or not, about CBDCs, saying that one of the things that they research is people want anonymity still. I think that is going to be an important part of the next step. But how they do that, I don't know. I think they probably have something in the plan though, because
Yeah.
I think that's going to come. But yeah, that's exciting to talk about. So that actually kind of leads me on to the next like little part. We only got about 10 minutes left, if that's okay.
Okay.
Which is going to be Metaverse. What do you think is going to happen this year? We've talked about play to earn gaming, NFTs a little bit. What do you think the step into the Metaverse is going to be? How's this going to look?
The metaverse has been here for years. Okay. It is Minecraft, Roblox. These are already metaverses, right? Metaverse, I think what they're meaning by this metaverse term is bringing real payments and NFTs to it. So connecting those metaverses with payments. I think everybody's using the word metaverse wrong. There is not one metaverse right now. There's hundreds. Until those are all connected, then we have a metaverse, right? When I can step from Minecraft and bring my diamond sword in some way, shape, or form into Roblox, now we have a metaverse. Right now we have metaverses, right? Once something connects those all, I think it could be Quant, if any of you guys know QNT, the coin. Something is going to connect all of those. And that is when we have an actual metaverse. I also think that the metaverse is strictly a combination of the physical and digital world. There's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg was not wearing a VR headset in his promotion for Meta. He's not wearing it because they know it goes in the eye. It's going to be a contact lens or glasses. It's not going to be this big uncomfortable headset.
Oculus,
and he knows that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like from what I've heard about Meta, the company, like Facebook, they want to be kind of like a launch pad to launch you into each different like area that you might go into. And to touch on what you just said, that the metaverse is already here, I completely agree. I also think that even with social media and doing this is the metaverse. We just don't like have that under the same bracket or thought process that people think that the metaverse basically is on paper. I had this discussion with someone randomly on a train the other day. They were like, "Oh, don't you think it's sad that our world's going to go there?" And I was like, "Well, I don't see much of a change. Like, what's the difference between like scrolling through a website on like Adidas.com to walking around a virtual Adidas store just with an avatar? There's no difference for me."
I agree, but I also think that people like that who think it's sad that we're going there are there's going to be some kind of like almost breakaway civilization who's like big middle fingers to all of that metaverse stuff, like the earthly beings, like they love the earth, right? But I think the key with the metaverse to anyone listening is make money off of it and do real stuff in real life, right? Make money off of it and make your life good on Earth, because even when you're in the VR headset, you still have an actual body to tend to, right? So it can get sketchy there, but I love technology. Like, I've been a computer nerd for so long, and I love where it's going as well.
Yeah, same. Like, especially, well, even now, like I said, I was going to say especially when I was younger, but even now, like, I love PCs, I love gaming. Even if I was not doing this full time and I had a job, imagine like supplementary income from going home and playing your Call of Duty or whatever game you like to play. I think that'd be massive.
Yeah.
I also think in regards to that though, like, I think there's going to be a big like change up in our world. I don't know how fast it will come, but if you think that a lot of people who are on like minimum wage, so like this isn't atting anybody, but like baristas, people working burger stores, I think all of that will become automated. So we're going to need a new influx of jobs, and where else is better than that, than like metaverse and online gaming? All these people who, like, when we start, everyone who starts a career, almost everybody starts in a minimum wage job, don't we? So you said you worked in a greenhouse. I worked at home base. I've like worked in bars, pubs, those sorts of things as well, and that's all going to be probably automated at some point when we get the technology properly. So those people who are taking that first ladder into work may have to take the ladder into the metaverse, or we're going to have some kind of financial universal income or something weird along those lines.
Yeah, I agree.
So thank you for your time, Mason. It's awesome to talk to you. Before you leave us, have you got any alpha for the Crypto Insight UK community? What's going on in Crypto Mason's head? Come on.
Any alpha, look into QNT, man. QNT is my alpha. Quant, HBAR, stay focused on the utility coins because they will. I would say this is my alpha. Look for the FAMGA, FAMGA, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Apple. Look for that in crypto, right? And people like Crypto Insight UK, right, and me, we are looking for the FAMGA here, right? So look for the FAMGA. I believe that the FAMGA is HBAR, Quant, XRP, Algorand. Coins like this, continue to look into those. What else can I give? You know, this is the final thing I'll say. Alpha mindset, okay? Get on the alpha mindset. Where have you had your bull run yet? Have you had it, right? In your life. You can really take the chart and learn all about life. Because where's your all-time low? Where's your all-time high, right? Are you hitting resistance right now? Are you bouncing off support right now? Like, where are you in your life on that chart? So I would say study the charts and look at it as a metaphor for life, because, like, man, we're on a permanent bull run in our lives. Like, come on. Permanent bull run in 2022 for our lives, though, right?
Hell yeah.
So that's what I say, yeah.
Hell yeah. And guys, I'll obviously put all your socials in the description below. Go and drop a follow to Crypto Mason if you don't already follow him. It's been awesome to chat with you, man. So thank you very much for stopping by. I'd love to get to speak to you again. I'd like to do some kind of live event with you as well. I think that'd be pretty cool for people to then ask us questions. So
thank you for having me, man.
No,
appreciate it.
No problem, brother.